Introducing the Omnis Duo, a portable, battery-powered all-in-one that may be your next controller, if you can stomach the $14.99 price tag. Let's talk about it. What's going on, everybody? It's your man, Cleveland Terry, and today, the first day of NAMM, Alpha Theta, aka Pioneer DJ, depending on how you want to talk about it, we'll talk about that in a minute, is releasing a few new products. One of them in particular, the Omnis Duo. That's right, I said it. A portable, battery-powered behemoth of a controller that I think is going to impress a lot of people. We're going to go through a lot of different key elements of this controller, but this is a first look. Obviously, I haven't had a chance to take it out and do my due diligence on a party, but I can tell you right now, this thing is packed with a lot of power. Some things I love, some things I like, some things I'd like to see. We're gonna talk about that today. Now, before we talk about the Omnis, I think we need to talk about one little thing, the elephant in the room, and that is the renaming of Pioneer DJ to Alpha Theta. I know they announced it yesterday, and it blew up the internet. People were freaking out all across the board, saying it's a bad idea, it is what it is. Look, here's the bottom line, and I'm just gonna say it and then move on, because it is what it is. Alpha Theta is the parent company of Pioneer DJ. Now, that's not to be confused with Pioneer, which is the one that sells all the high-end consumer electronics. At one time, yes, Pioneer did own Pioneer DJ, but they've been sold for a long time now. Alpha Theta is the parent company. So what you're going to be seeing here in the future is different devices are going to operate under different names. Some are going to operate under Pioneer DJ, some are going to operate under Alpha Theta, but the bottom line here is Alpha Theta is the owner of all of this. I know a lot of people have been loyal to Pioneer DJ, and for whatever reason you think that if the name changes, the product is going to suffer. Product isn't going to change. It's still the same company. It's just they've rebadged some of their products. Not all of their products, but some of them. So hopefully we're not going to get too stressed out over this, because I don't think it's that big of a deal. They've been saying Alpha Theta for a while now. People have just kind of operated with blinders on. It does not change the quality of the controller or the turntables or the CDJs that you may purchase in the future. I have a feeling that Omnis Duo, if you were to take a look at just the kind of design language of this, it does feel a lot like the Opus Quad. And if you noticed, Omnis Duo, Opus Quad, kind of has the same name recognition. So what I think is going to end up happening here is that we're going to have different controller pieces for different kind of lifestyles. Opus Quad is not your everyday DJ gear. It takes some design cues. Some people love, some people don't like. We move over to the Omnis Duo, same concept. First thing we're going to talk about, it's blue. It's blue. Now, I love the blue. Some people are not going to like the blue, but I feel like this Alpha Theta line of products is going to be a little more extravagant with their design cues, with their styling. And I, for one, don't have a problem with that. I get tired of looking at black controllers everywhere. This is a nice, refreshing thing. Okay, we've said that. Let's move on here. First things first, let's talk about the things that we know are part of everyday life, okay? And that is the front jacks. We do have headphone jacks with the 1/4 inch and the mini jack, standard on pretty much every single controller out there. On the back side, we have a USB-C for power, followed by a SD card and USB-A for a thumb drive. Moving over, we do have a USB-C for your computer. That's right. This not only is an all-in-one, but it will rock Rekordbox and Serato. At the start of this, it's only going to be Rekordbox, but there will be an update at some point where they will add Serato to the mix. Now, as we continue over, we do have XLR outputs, thank you, followed by RCA outputs, and then 2 microphones, 1 combo jack, 1/4 inch. All right, now let's move over to the top of this, because this is where the beauty takes place. And I do believe that it is a gorgeous design. The layout is good. It's giving you what you need, nothing more, and we'll talk about that too, because I do have a couple of little issues with the fact that you're getting all of your buttons and they are all necessary for this controller. So, for instance, if you were thinking about MIDI mapping, you're going to find yourself trying to look for which buttons that you can actually MIDI map, because you're going to use all of them. Over to the right-hand side here, we do have our power button, followed by our master and our booth. The booth is a secondary for the RCA out. You don't have a dedicated booth, you have the RCA master out. Followed by your browse knob, and then your loading for track 1 and track 2. Over here, we do have our beat jump and our beat loop. You can change the values just by holding shift and then changing the beat loop, and they will stay the value that you set. So I do love that. The jog wheels. Jog wheels are nice. They're a good size. As we all know, if you're looking at something like the Denon Prime Go, one of the main issues with that one is the fact that the jogs were very, very small. These are giving you really, really nice jogs. If we were to look at like the Numark Mixstream Go, Pro Go, those jogs are nice, but as far as design, as far as premium build, that's not what the Numark Mixstream Go is. However, still a good product. But I do believe from a design build, this is a very premium portable all-in-one. All right, let's move down. We do have our shift button, followed by our cues, and then our cue points here. You notice it has the A, B, and C, and the D. Obviously, this is taking the elements from Rekordbox, but everything works perfectly. If we're looking at the cues, the buttons are click buttons, but they are very responsive, and I haven't had any problems with them whatsoever. The fader is a click fader. You slide down, it's a very smooth fader. You do have a center click right here, which is, I do love having a center click. I want to talk about the click because there are center clicks and everything on this board, which is actually refreshing. You don't see that too often. But if you move down, you'll notice that everything has a center click. Your level depth center click, your cue master has a center click, your color, your EQs, everything has a kind of a 12 o'clock point, and I do appreciate that. All right, moving over, the screen will be last. We'll move over to the mixer itself, and on the mixer, we do have your high, mid, your low, your trim, your color, and everything works exactly how you would expect. On the track, we do have the EQs, not zero kill, and then on the color, not full kill on these either. On the beat effects, if we click on the effects tab right here, we can adjust the beat parameters. And of course we can do the auto, and then we can do the tap by holding shift. Then we have our level and our on, our off. You do have a delay, echo, trans, flanger, spiral, reverb, pitch, and roll. All the standard effects that are found in every Pioneer device. Moving over to the left, we have our headphone cues, 1 and 2, and followed by our cue master, again, center click, and then your headphone level. As far as the up-faders are concerned, they are smooth. They're not scratch faders, but they are very smooth up and down. And then your crossfader is actually a very good crossfader. As you can see here, that's excellent. Compared to the other all-in-ones, your Numark and your Denon, this is the best crossfader I've used. It's actually a joy to use, so a lot of people are gonna find a lot of use out of this controller. All right, now, let's move over to some of the bells and whistles of it, because from a surface level, you know, it doesn't really look like it's doing a lot, but there's a lot of technology in here that's gonna make some people very, very happy. We're gonna move over to the Bluetooth section in a second, but we're gonna save that one for a few minutes. You can go to the browse by holding the shift and the back button, or you can just click on the browse. The one thing I will say about this, I would have preferred if there was a dedicated back button. I just find myself always kind of here, working the knobs, and if I select on something, I want to be able to just kind of click it and go back. But now it forces me to either hold the shift button and click to take me there, or I got to keep moving my hands from left to right. Let's move over to the deck side. And on this side, we do have our jog mode, which is basically vinyl emulation. You can turn it off, so then you can affect the speed by actually shifting this instead. The quantize is set, for me, I typically have the quantize set off. And when it's set to 1, no matter how many times I press it, it's only gonna go on that 1 beat. So what we wanna do instead is go into settings and then change this to either half or 1/4. 1/4 is pretty good. And then back to this. See, it's faster. We go back up, change it to 1/8. And that's better for me. Okay, dropping down, we do have our slip mode. As we know. And then one of the things I will mention is that both decks have different settings. So you can have, for whatever reason you might want it, you can have this quantize at this level and you can drop down, and then this quantize, you can have this quantize off, you can have the slip mode on, you can have choose to have it off, you can just have vinyl on one. So you do have a lot of options for what you can do. They have broken out the jogs, which I do appreciate. Dropping down here, we do have our loop, our beat jump loop, and that's following these controls. Like if I hold the shift and click the value, you'll see that the numbers change. I like to keep mine at half, that way I can do instant doubles pretty easily. Then we have our time, and we are 6 seconds into the song on deck 1. If I click on it, it's gonna give me the remaining time for the song. Then we have our sync and our master tempo, and we just click on that and we have variations of +6, +10, +15, and then wide, which is wide open, and then the master tempo, which keeps everything in key. Moving up, we do have our ability to record, and then we can go over here, which is our Wi-Fi, our Bluetooth, and then our appearance. Now, notice that I have the power plugged in, but I'm not using the standard power that's coming from Alpha Theta that was in the box. I'm just going right off of my little USB hub that powered a lot of my little devices here. If you notice on here, it says low power supply is connected. It will take pretty much any power you can give it, which means that you can even do a battery backup and you can plug that in. It's not necessarily going to do a really fast charge. At a minimum, at least it's going to keep it from dying. I've had this in here all night and it stayed at 100%. If I unplug it, it's going to give you a ridiculous number at first, and then it's going to auto adjust itself. So like when I did it earlier, it said 10 hours. Now it's saying 6 and 12. Now, do I believe it's going to last 6 hours? I mean, optimistically, but even Alpha Theta is stating that the average is 5.5 hours, which is still fantastic for a portable all-in-one controller. Now, we do have an echo mode, which will basically turn off the Bluetooth and the Wi-Fi, like so, and it'll affect your brightness too, which will give you obviously more power. We all know that using Wi-Fi and using Bluetooth are just battery sucks. There's no way around it. Bluetooth, you're gonna get a low power Bluetooth, but Wi-Fi just sucks power out, which is what we'll talk about because there are some things that are missing here. Now, we do have the ability, let me turn echo mode back on. Now, we do have the ability to pair up a phone input or any Bluetooth device that is outputting audio, or Bluetooth output, which will output, obviously, this controller to a Bluetooth speaker, which they do have a new set of speakers, the Wave 8s, which are fantastic, and that's in my other video. Please check that out too, because they are separate. As far as Wi-Fi is concerned, you can turn it on and then go into your settings. It's gonna look for Wi-Fi, try to figure it out. Now, I will say that I don't know specifically if any hotels with secondary pages is gonna give it problems. I wasn't at a hotel that did that. I was at a hotel, I plugged it in. When I was in my browser, a screen popped up and I was able to get out of that, but for whatever reason, it didn't pop up here and I was still connected. So I don't know if we're running into the same issue as we do with the Denons and things like that, where, you know, that secondary page causes us to not be able to use the Wi-Fi. Now, here's the thing. The Wi-Fi specifically, at this point in time, is really only working on the Pioneer DJ app, the phone app, which allows you to stream your music from your cloud services. There are no streaming services at the current time. However, there are streaming services coming. I don't have a time yet, but they will be coming. So you will be getting your standard beat sources and, you know, titles and all that stuff. They will be coming, just not now. Okay. Remember that, because we're going to get back to that in a minute. Moving over, we do have our dark appearance, but we can go into what I like to call daylight mode. and everything is crisp and clean. It's not gonna come through here because it's a very white color and my camera does not want to see it properly. But everything is crisp. It's gonna look really, really good in the daytime. You can change the colors of the actual waveforms too. These are the standard blues, but if we go into our settings, we can affect them by going blue, RGB, 3-band. I just prefer to have the blue. It just looks clean and it goes very nicely with the display here. Back to your browse real quick. Your browse, it's using the new Rekordbox database that everybody's been having questions about, but it does make for a really nice looking setup here. If you put something else in, it may not show up like this, but you do have your artist, your album, your track list, your key, your playlist, your history, your matching, and then your recordings. Back to your sources, as I said before, you do have your SD and you have your software control and you have your USB. Now, if I put my USB in, you're gonna be able to do that, which means that you can run concurrent people on the device. If somebody wants to come in and take over, they can come in with their computer via Serato or Rekordbox. Rekordbox obviously on launch, but you can use your USB, you can use your SD, and same thing on your USB. Same situation, and everything works perfectly. Your search, you got your search here, Terry. I got nothing in there for me. Actually, I did. Now on both of these, we have the SD card and the USB drive right here. They're in different colors, and they kind of do that by default, which is, I think, is a good feature because I didn't change anything, but it kind of lets you know which media you're using. One of the issues that people are gonna say is, oh, there's no streaming, no deal. And as I said just a minute ago, there is streaming coming, but there's a workaround right now. And this is the only device that is doing this. And you'd have to go back decades to find a device that did this in the past. And it didn't do it like this, especially with Bluetooth. So let's go over to Bluetooth real quick. And we're gonna go on my phone. And we're gonna go into settings. Actually, we don't even need to do that. Let's go into Bluetooth. All right, and we're gonna go ahead and choose a device. Now I've already got this queued up. I have Omnis Duo right here. So we're gonna go ahead and select that. Okay, now once it's connected, let's move over to our sources. And now we have my name in Bluetooth right here. Okay, this is where it gets interesting. You look down here, we do have our remaining, which says 909. It started at 10 and it's been slowly counting down. Let me show you something here. So we're gonna clear this out. We're gonna hit play. Then, now we're ready to load it. That took about 8 seconds. We load it up and it's loading in the song. More importantly, let's put a cue point in. Do you understand what this means? Do you understand what this means? Anything that you have that is Bluetooth output enabled, you can send to your Omnis Duo, and you have a new way to get music into your device. So when somebody says to you, can you play my YouTube track? Technically, you can. We're gonna turn our volume up. Clear it out, go to Justin the DJ. It's gonna collect the audio as much as it needs before it starts ready to stream. Hit load. And now I got my vocals No, I watch your channel, so I know you get this all the time. But for somebody that doesn't know you, what would you recommend?
I think the most important thing for all the DJs out there, because we all know DJs are not good at social media. Like we all know DJs are not good at social media. 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 DJs are not good at social media.
Now, on the buttons here, we do have our pairing, which we've paired to the phone, and then we have a headphone jack. The headphone allows you to listen to the track before you're ready to play it. Then I can eject this track out, like so. Now, it's still in there, so if I load it again, it's going to play right from the beginning. If I go back, eject it out, now I choose mixer. Now I can just play it normal, and let's say I want to send it to channel 1 or channel 2. We'll send it to channel 2. And we got audio, and it's playing. This now playing in a minute is going to select itself, but I can jump around now to different songs. Done. Anything that's coming out of your phone can be used. Here, let me demonstrate. We're going to go to Instagram. We'll go to my page. And we'll take Justin the DJ right here. Now, the options are limitless on what you can do. I'm a big fan of this when you factor in the fact that streaming is coming, but in the meantime, you don't really need to have streaming because you're going to have this. It does collect the full sample, so if I remove the track out of here and let's see if I turn off Bluetooth real quick. I turned off Bluetooth, so Bluetooth is gone. I go into my sources, Bluetooth is no longer there, but it stays in memory. So
about DJing is gotta start first. DJs are not good at social media. DJs are not good at social media.
The file itself, let's just shrink it down. And it will take up to, I believe, a 10-minute file. But there you go. That video clip was only 44 seconds. But as I was kind of moving around on Instagram, it changed and it was still recording. So it continuously records. The options are honestly limitless. You know, some of you pre-recorded DJs out there are going to have a field day. I'm a big fan of what this is. I am also aware that $14.99 is quite expensive. I mean, the Denon Prime Go was, I believe, $1,000 when it was released. And this is definitely what it's competing with. I think that for what it offers, it's in the range. Is it expensive? Yes, obviously inflation, after the pandemic, prices have gone up a little bit. But I do believe that it's a very good device because this unit could be someone's daily, everyday controller. And without question, wouldn't hesitate to say that if you were looking for something like this and you wanted, flexibility and options in case of emergency, break glass, well, this is the emergency. Hey, we don't have any power in this room. What are we going to do? You're set up. This is a very good device. I have no issues with it. You let me know in the chat below what you think about the price. All right, last thing we'll talk about is your EQ settings. You got your EQ and your ISO. You have your split Q and your stereo. So we can do split Q. You have your fader curve, and then you have your crossfader curve. I have mine set to sharp, but you can have it built through, or you can hit through and then just turn the thing off. All right, now let's move over to the utility. And we have our decks. If we want to lock the deck, so when it's playing and let you hit pause, it's not going to load up. Your vinyl speed adjust, we can affect that. Overwrite the cues, auto cue, play mode, single, or continuous. So if you have a crate that you want to play during cocktail or whatever, you can do that. Move over to the mixer. The master attenuator set to 0, but you do have -6 and -12. The master booth, we can set it to be either stereo or mono. And then the booth master, obviously that's the same thing. And we can turn off the fact that we have a mic going to the booth. We can turn off the mic going to the master recording, and we can turn off the mic going to the USB output. So for any of you people that are streaming, you can turn off the mic if you need to. All right, we have our font size, then we have our screensaver, our power management, which it'll warn you that if you have issues, and then going back to your defaults, and then you have your standard info. So I think I've hit everything from a first look. So if you're used to rekordbox all-in-ones, this is gonna feel very, very normal to you. And if you're not, you're gonna find that it's very user-friendly to kind of navigate through. The only issue I have, is I am a little concerned about when people start plugging in their computers. Did I mention that it does computers? I should show you that too. Software control is exactly what you'd expect. You go in there, you can search, do what you normally do. If I were to go into like my big room, I can go here. This is all my crates. We can load it. Let's click on that. Let's go into the files. We'll load the track, and it's there. Once again, go back to browse, load this track into the other side, and it's there. All right, real quick, I did miss this in my edits. I just want to make sure it's out there. My only concern when we are using rekordbox or Serato is because we have the inclination to want to use stems, but the buttons are all being allocated to things and they're dedicated to those things. So if you're going to be MIDI mapping over those buttons, chances are you're going to be MIDI mapping or copying over something that's actually important. So that's my only issue, is that stems is going to be just a little more difficult to use because there aren't any dedicated buttons. You might need to pull out, one of those external controllers like an XP1 or something like that. There's nothing more that I can say right now without using it. I'm going to take this out on several parties. We're going to check it out, see exactly how it plays through. I don't really have any issues with it. In all honesty, it's a really good device. It's a gorgeous looking device. In all honesty, some people may not like it. I think it's gorgeous. I think that the design cues, the circle cues and the plays, everything just kind of works. The blue works for me, works very, very well. I'm a big fan of this. I have no issues whatsoever. It's got the Bluetooth features, and then paired with the Wave 8, it gives you a lot of functionality. It's a good looking device. It's good. I have no issues. The mic sounds good. The headphones sound good. Plenty of power coming out of there. Plenty of power coming out of the XLRs. It's exactly what you would need. So it's portable. It's battery powered. It's $14.99. You have to figure out if that price makes sense to you, but it's a good device. Let me know in the comments below what you think about the device, and we can talk about it. But you'll be able to see it at NAMM. If you're going to NAMM, they will have plenty of demos on. You can check it out. You can give your opinion then. All right, guys, if you found what I said are useful, hit that like button. If you found what I said are really useful, hit that subscribe button. Make sure you follow me on the Instagrams and Twitters. Get on my Discord, because that's where we're talking about all things Cleveland Terry. Guys, girls, always a pleasure. If I don't talk to you later, we'll talk soon. Peace.